It is Thursday, the 9th day of November 2023, a day that President William Ruto has addressed the state of the nation for the first time as president. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch and Hope TV. It is the station where you look and live. I'm Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. We have a packed bulletin for you, so sit back, relax and let us take a look at the day's events. President William Ruto has vowed to live up to the promises made in his bottom-up economic transformation plan, promising to address the high cost of living that is being experienced in the country. In his inaugural State of the Nation address, Ruto has attributed the current economic situation to the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic, coupled with global supply chain disruptions and geopolitical conflicts, adding that other factors such as low agricultural investment and a prolonged drought have also led to food shortages. Grace Ahati reports.
President William Ruto today made his inaugural State of the Nation address at the Parliament buildings in Nairobi, focusing immensely on the country's ailing economy, which has skyrocketed in the recent times. As Kenyans continue to grapple with the harsh economy, the head of state has vowed to fulfill the promises made in the Kenya Kwanza's bottom-up model to put an end to food shortages in the country, noting that this can be addressed through practical action and effective measures.
Our commitment to bring the national values and principles of governance to life in order to significantly enhance the well-being of every individual and promote the unity, stability, security and development of our country began long before the last election and will endure well beyond our term. It has been my manifest intention to live up to all the commitments set out in the plan, and despite enormous challenges and tremendous difficulties, we have made encouraging progress in a positive direction.
The president has attributed the current economic crisis to the COVID-19 pandemic, coupled with global supply chain disruptions and geopolitical conflicts, emphasizing that despite the challenges, the country is on course towards economic recovery.
Pandemic, coupled with global supply chain disruptions and geopolitical conflicts, significantly raised inflation and interest rates, adversely affecting our economy, while low agricultural investment and a prolonged drought led to food shortages and made Kenya a net importer of food in a volatile international market. It was under conditions of such extreme difficulty that the people of Kenya entrusted us with the responsibility of simultaneously generating effective solutions to immediate problems, providing a credible pathway to stability in the medium term, and undertaking long-term structural transformation of our economy.
President Ruto has stated that as part of his administration's efforts to transform Kenya's economy to put an end to hunger, various interventions and effective measures have been put in place, among them the reduction of the cost of fertilizers.
We have made adequate arrangements, including investment in necessary infrastructure to facilitate post-harvest management and to prevent post-harvest losses. 17 certified warehouses jointly managed by the National Cereals and Produce Board and the private sector owners with a combined capacity of 365 metric tons or 4,090 kilogram bags have been prepared in the maize growing areas.
Ruto has at the same time defended the formulation of the housing law, which seeks to increase affordable housing units in the country, noting that this is a strategic intervention which will reduce the cost of living.
Low supply of affordable housing units in Kenya is acute, making rent a huge component of the cost of living for many households. The increase in affordable housing units is a strategic intervention to not only supply affordable dwellings for Kenyans, but also as a means to reduce the cost of living.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
Thank you, Grace Ahati, for that report. Now, President William Ruto has lauded the ongoing Bomas talks by the National Dialogue Committee, chaired by Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka and National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah. Speaking today during the State of the Nation address, President Ruto said that the national dialogue has enabled leaders to find common ground on many of the issues whose resolution will accelerate transformation. Ironically, Azimio leader Raila Odinga was, however, absent in President Ruto's first State of the Nation address, despite an executive seat being set aside for him at the Speaker's Gallery. Our very own Kennedy Kimani with more on this story.
In his first State of the Nation address and his second address to a joint sitting of Parliament, President William Ruto did not shy away from addressing the political trajectory of the nation. With the National Dialogue Committee preparing to finalize the talks at the Bomas of Kenya, the head of state thanked the committee co-chairs, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka and Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah, for what he termed as a wonderful job, adding that the National Dialogue has enabled leaders to find a common ground on many of the issues whose resolution will accelerate the transformation of the nation.
It would be, honorable members, remiss of me not to mention the ongoing bipartisan process of national dialogue that has enabled our leaders to find common ground on many of the issues whose resolution will accelerate our transformation, deepen our democracy, and enhance national unity. Specifically, I thank the two co-chairs, my good brother, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, our former president, and the leader of majority in the House, Kimani Ichung'wah, for doing a wonderful job. Congratulations, gentlemen. I salute the courage and patriotism of my fellow leaders who have embraced national dialogue and engage and encourage all of us to keep up the noble work of bringing Kenyans together.
The head of state went ahead and thanked other political leaders who have embraced the Bomas talks, at the same time urging all leaders to bring Kenyans together.
There is no doubt that our nation has been confronted with immense pressure emanating from political misunderstandings sometimes and electoral disagreements. And it is because we have a robust democracy, which we are very proud of. Such pressure can disrupt lives and livelihoods and undermine our economy. Thankfully, Kenyans always find the moral strength and political imagination to reach across the political divide and engage in dialogue in the spirit of goodwill, fraternity, and commitment to the national interest and the welfare of the nation.
Azimio leader Raila Odinga was, however, a no-show today at the Parliament buildings as President William Ruto made his inaugural State of the Nation address, despite an executive seat being reserved for him at the Speaker's Gallery. The opposition leader instead attended a student leaders forum where he was joined by Siaya Governor James Orengo, Embakasi East MP Babu Owino, and other ODM leaders. The student leaders unanimously announced plans to hold nationwide demonstrations in all universities tomorrow to protest the rising cost of living, at the same time asking Raila Odinga to join them. President William Ruto, however, concluded his speech by trying to rouse the country into a hopeful mood, stating that the state of the nation at this moment in time is prepared and ready to go, adding that Kenya is a nation of the brave, hard-working, enterprising people who are determined to prevail in the struggle for economic freedom and win the race for prosperity. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch, Nairobi.
Thank you, Kennedy Kimani, for that report. Moving on, Justice Lawrence Mugambi has suspended the Gazette Notice, okaying the increase of charges to documents after a Nakuru-based doctor, Magare Gikenyi, moved to court to challenge the new levies. In his application, he says that the increase is against legitimate expectation of citizens, considering the hard economic times Kenyans are facing. According to Ashoya Biko, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, the government is inviting a lot of legal battles, stating that the move of increasing acquisition of vital documents to Kenyans is unnecessary. As Gloria Musimbi now reports, the matter has been certified as urgent with mention set for November 29th for further direction.
Same amount. It is a relief to Kenyans after the High Court issued orders stopping the implementation of the new charges for ID card and passport issuance that were gazetted 2 days ago. Justice Lawrence Mugambi of the High Court in Nairobi gave the orders following a petition by Nakuru-based Surgeon Magare Gikenyi, who in his petition said the charges were capricious and out of reach of many Kenyans. The Gazette Notice has continued to elicit strong reactions from Kenyans who expressed their views against the government, complaining about the proposal to pay a higher amount for government services that they believe are already funded by their taxes. As seen in the Gazette Notice, the government has revised the charges of some of its vital services, including passports, ID, work permits, birth and death certificate applications.
Ununua unga ama ni ID utachukua. Ngiri mbili ni nyingi bwana. Mimi nilikuwa naonako bwana hii kitu yani hata mimi sio ni maana kulipa ngiri mbili. Jota nimefikisha miaka 47, kwani nimebakisha ngapi niende biguni? Si ni kidogo.
Sasa unaenda huko naambiwa ID kipotea ni 2,000, mtu atakwambia corruption itaingia. Leta 500 ni kutengenezea haraka. Sisi tulikuwa tunatarajia venye atatuongoza kama president wetu. Yeye atatuangalia kama watu wa chini tu, yeye ni mtu alisema yeye ni hustler.
Sione kama hiyo maisha wa Kenya wa chini hawataweza kufaulu hiyo maneno. Ukiangalia mtu kama ule ambaye amezalia mtoto nje ya Kenya, eti inafaa alipe 1,000,000 ndio apewe birth certificate ya huyo mtoto. Sasa hiyo vitu itatoka wapi? Kama mimi naweza enda Uganda na nizae mtoto niruti hapa na Kenya na mniombe shilingi 1,000,000 itatoka wapi?
If the notice will be implemented, Kenyans will now have to pay 1,000 Kenyan shillings for the identification card, a necessary and vital document that has for a long time been issued to Kenyans for free. In the case of a misplacement, Kenyans will now have to pay 2,000 Kenyan shillings for a replacement. New birth certificate applications will cost 200 shillings from 50 shillings. Application fees for death certificates have also quadrupled to 200 shillings, while amendment fees for both birth and death certificates have increased by 870 to 1,000 Kenyan shillings. The fee of a 50-page diplomatic passport has doubled to 15,000 from 7,500 shillings. Whereas the price of a 32-page service passport remains unchanged at 3,000 shillings.
If in the wisdom of the judicial officer who is handling that matter, they would, they would convince themselves that there is the need to suspend the implementation of the Gazette Notice, then it's not going to only affect a section or a component of the Gazette Notice. It is supposed to make us, or it's supposed to make a determination that suspends the whole of that Gazette Notice, so that then they can interrogate the appropriateness of that Gazette Notice.
Commenting on the current uproar and court suspension, Ashioya Biko, an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, noted that the court should do a comprehensive suspension of issue and fees of documents acquired by citizens from the government. Biko notes that the move to increase the amount charged for the acquisition of vital documents to Kenyans is unnecessary with the current state of the nation. According to him, this may invite trouble as a long legal battle between citizens and the government may begin.
At which then there will be continued, castigation of government by its citizen. There will be continued filing of cases, and as all Kenyans know, most of the decisions that have been taken for determination before our courts by Kenyans have received very favorable rulings and judgments as against governments in each of those cases that they've taken.
The High Court has, however, certified the matter as urgent and issued a conservatory order stopping the implementation of the new charges, a move we can only wait and see if the government will heed to. Gloria Musimbi, reporting for TV Newswatch.
Much appreciated, Gloria Musimbi, for that report. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union, KMPDU, has raised concerns over the Social Health Insurance Act 2023, saying it is an impediment to health care access by Kenyans. Addressing the press today, KMPDU leadership have expressed their reservations on certain clauses and how they would impact health service delivery in the country. According to the union, all their proposals to the Parliamentary Health Committee were ignored. Alice Diana with this story.
The recently enacted Social Health Insurance Act 2023 has continued to receive criticism from different quarters in the country. Solidarity. The Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union KMPDU is the latest to express its disappointment with the act, saying the government is about to meet justice against not only civil servants but Kenyans in general.
So every month, every civil servant have been paying the 1,700 plus an extra medical allowance of 3,500. That is totaling up to 5,200 with 5,200 per month. With this bill, which has just been enacted, it then means that the monthly deductions is going to increase threefold. That means if you are paying 1,700, you're going to pay 5,000. If you're paying 500, you're paying 1,500, depending on your level of salary. But if you look at our members, it means that annually they'll be paying 102,000 for the Social Health Insurance Act. You cannot promise universal health care when almost 3 million Kenyans will be going to private hospitals, will be going to faith-based hospitals, or will be going to other public hospitals, and they have to sell their properties to access the care. It must come out very clearly that these civil servants with their dependents must be given a comprehensive cover, and if that is not possible, then their medical allowance must be returned forthwith. And that's the demand we are giving to government on that.
According to KMPDU, 80% of Kenyans work in the informal sector, and this law is going to hurt them dearly by making them contribute upfront the entire annual amount, unlike their formerly employed counterparts who will contribute monthly.
If you are not able to pay this, in this particular article, you will not be able to access care. Then how will the universal health care be achieved when we know that there are many people who will not be able to pay that upfront? What condemns them if they are not salaried? That means that they have to pay all at once. Is it that the government doesn't trust its own people to make sure that they all pay even if they don't have? In fact, the bill goes ahead as saying that they'll be provided with premiums, which looks like loans. To whose benefit if you are not able to pay for this particular social health insurance fund?
On the primary health care fund, the union has demanded that the fund be disbursed to the counties by the Commission of Revenue Allocation and not managed by Social Health Authority, as this will undermine devolution and affect the service delivery by perennial delays.
If indeed the government wants to ensure that there is a primary health care, there is a universal access, that level 1, 2, 3 must be accessed, then these funds need to be disbursed ante to the hospitals within level 1, level 2, level 3. These funds need to be provided to those counties so that the counties can actually employ health workforce, so that the counties can actually buy the drugs, because these are tax-based funds. The primary health care fund is a tax fund. It's not a fund that is based on the contribution. Viva!
Alice Diana, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Alice Diana. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has said that Kenya will not allow its troops to exit the country for Haiti until all the required resources are availed. Kindiki said that no taxpayers' money will be spent to deploy the 1,000 National Police Service officers as part of the multinational security support in Haiti. Appearing before the joint sitting of National Assembly and Senate Committees on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations on the request for approval by Parliament of deployment of NPS officers to Haiti, the Interior Cabinet Secretary said that the cost of deployment will be borne by United Nations member states through voluntary contributions. Kindiki added that deployment of National Police Service officers to Haiti will neither compromise nor undermine the capacity and capability of the service to fulfill its mandate to secure citizens and their property.
We have agreed on a number of things. That first of all, the resources for this mission will be arranged or mobilized among the member states of the United Nations. And they have already identified the way the funds will be mobilized and how they will be made available for us. The only assurance that I want to give honorable chairs is that unless all resources are mobilized and availed, our troops will not leave the country. Not even one of them will leave Kenya. So that work is ongoing. including the mobilization of equipment. And once again, our troops, not even one of them, our forces, our officers, will not leave the soil of Kenya until the equipment that is required on the ground in Haiti is in place.
We now take a short commercial break, but coming up on the other side of this bulletin is a story on how Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza survived impeachment and much more. See you shortly.
Treasure Hunt.
Treasure Hunt on Hope TV.
We bring you great content for boys and girls in this new season of Treasure Hunt.
Kisha tashimba shambani.
In Proverbs and Ecclesiastics, he is our wisdom. In Songs of Solomon, he is our lover and bridegroom. Yay!
Treasure Hunt, Saturdays at 9 a.m. only on Hope TV. In order to keep hope alive in the airwaves, Hope Media has a couple of initiatives. Friends of Hope. Friends of Hope is you and I forming a team of well-wishers and volunteers who give in cash and kind to support in spreading the gospel at Hope Media. Currently, Hope Media is running a campaign under Friends of Hope dubbed 100 for 1. Through the campaign, Hope Media is asking Hope FM and Hope TV listeners and viewers to give just 100 shillings in order to reach one more soul with the message of hope and the gospel. Engage with us on our social media platforms at Hope FM Live and at Hope TV Kenya. Kuwa rafiki mso leo.
Welcome back. Now, Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has been acquitted for the 7 charges that were brought against her, making this the second austere attempt she has survived. Mwangaza was accused of misappropriating county resources, nepotism and unethical practices, bullying and vilifying other leaders, usurping her statutory powers, contempt of court, illegally naming a public road after her husband, and contempt of the Meru County Assembly. Joy Mochache now reports.
Mwangaza's tough ride began when she was up against both Kiraitu Murungi and Mithika Linturi in the 2022 general elections, managing to take the chair. In her fight to keep her position, Mwangaza has faced 2 impeachment cases and survived both after the first one was thrown out by the same Senate Assembly last year. In the second impeachment brought against her, the Senate held a hearing session after 59 MCAs voted in favor of the impeachment resolution.
Speaker, this evening I've been called upon to make a very difficult decision. A decision that if we send Governor Kawira home, then her career comes to a grinding halt.
During Mwangaza's defense, her advocate Elias Mutuma played several videos as a means of evidence, including a video where Meru County Deputy Governor Isaac Mutuma was heard disparaging Mwangaza's outreach program dubbed Okolea. Later, Mwangaza apologized to MPs and MCAs, requesting for forgiveness for any perceived wrongs she did.
Na Mungu anipe kuvumilia kwingi to see Meru people happy. The members of parliament, our dear deputy senator of this house, the MCAs, deputy speaker, if I've wronged any one of you, forgive me.
On misappropriation of funds, nepotism and bullying, the Senate voted against the charges.
Charge number 1. Misappropriation and misuse of county resources. Ayes 19, nays 28. The nays have it. Charge number 2, nepotism and related unethical practices. Ayes 5, nays 42, abstain 0. The nays have it. Charge number 3, bullying, vilification and demeaning other leaders. Ayes 3, nays 44, abstain 0. The nays have it.
On usurpation of statutory powers, naming a road after her spouse, contempt of court and assembly, the Senate also voted against the charges. After deliberation, the senators voted unanimously to dismiss all 7 allegations brought against Governor Mwangaza by the Meru County Assembly.
The Senate has failed to remove from office by impeachment Honorable Kawira Mwangaza, the Governor of Meru County. And the Governor accordingly continues to hold office.
Her win has led some leaders to congratulate her for surviving the second impeachment, such as a post that was made by the Council of Governors chairperson Anne Waiguru, who took to her X account to congratulate Mwangaza, thanking the senators for voting in the direction they did.
Well, that is the end of the...
Joy Mochache, reporting for Hope TV.
Thank you, Joy Mochache, for that report. Now, the Council of Governors has called on the National Parliament to expedite the enactment of the Impeachment Procedures Bill so as to set a strong threshold to impeach a governor. The governors, led by their chairperson Anne Waiguru, said the initiative will protect devolution and enhance development in the country. The governors praised the Senate for handling the impeachment of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza in a sober manner that saw the motion dropped at the floor of the House. The Kirinyaga governor said the Senate has played its cardinal responsibility of protecting devolution, which is in the first year of its 3rd cycle.
The Council of Governors has held a retreat to reflect on the last 1 year, whose theme was Reflect, Realign, and Renew. Before I read out the resolutions, I wish to note that we appreciate the sobriety of the Senate in the manner they handled the impeachment motion against our sister, Her Excellency Kawira Mwangaza. This is a great win for devolution, as the Senate has upheld the threshold for the removal of a governor. Indeed, the Senate has played its cardinal responsibility of protecting devolution. Ladies and gentlemen, as you have heard us mention, that one of the things I said is that we are requesting Parliament to expedite the law. There's already several drafts, I think there are 2 or 3, that are already in the process for defining the criteria for the removal of governor from office.
What we are seeking is legislation that sets the threshold for impeachment of a governor. I think this is very critical, so that we can save the country a lot of this drama in a lot of these counties. You'll remember in the first case of impeachment, Governor Kawira was impeached even before she set the structures of her government. So what is it that a governor would have committed before she has actually even formed a cabinet for her to be impeached? You know, we shouldn't be impeaching each other because we don't like each other or because we had a rough battle in the elections. And this is why it's important to set an objective criteria, which then establishes a predictable sort of threshold as to what constitutes, an impeachable offense.
Away from that, Azimio Principal Raila Odinga has questioned the new university funding model, terming it confusing. Speaking when he conducted a roundtable with university student leaders, the ODM party leader said that the new model is inaccurate as it had not been tested. Raila also decried the heavy presence of police officers in universities, saying that students should be allowed to engage the university authorities freely. He added that both boys and girls should all be empowered to pursue education in equal measure.
This issue of funding model which they brought here is very confusing. It is not quite clear because they're talking about those without any means who will get 100% support, those with some little bit of ability or support, and then those who don't require support at all. And you ask yourself, where is the barometer? How are you going to test the temperature? You will see that so and so parents are employed, but that fellow who is employed is actually supporting 10 students or children. somebody is probably earning less down here, but he's only supporting one student. This student went to a national school. Then it's assumed that the student has got means. How do you know? Going to a national school is just because of the marks that you received at the examination. And maybe your uncle can offer to sponsor you. Or just a friend with the family can offer to sponsor you because you've done well. That does not mean that this fellow is going to sponsor you at the university. So all these things they're coming about with are things which are not being tested. They are basically like people who are walking in the dark. And then the issue of using police in the institutions of learning is again something that we have condemned very strongly. That universities should be allowed to do their things, and the police should not be used excessively in the universities. Students should be able to engage and dialogue with the university authorities. That is the civilized way of running universities. But we are dealing with a state that has gone rogue too early.
Flooding caused by the rain that continues to pour in the northeastern part of the country has led to loss of property and death. In a dual tragedy, flash floods have claimed 14 lives, prompting urgent warnings from the area's regional commissioner, John Otieno. Simultaneously, victims of floods at the Madogo campsite in Tana River County are living in a dire condition, with families facing starvation. Faith Muli with more details.
Northeastern Region Commissioner John Otieno has revealed Mandera is the hardest hit area, with 7 people reported dead due to drowning. Wajir has recorded 5 casualties and Garissa 2 victims, all succumbing to similar circumstances. Concerned about public safety, Otieno has cautioned against crossing flooded roads, emphasizing that all victims lost their lives through drowning. He specifically highlighted the perilous nature of the Garissa-Mandogoshe Road, urging residents to avoid it.
We are along Garissa-Mandogoshe Road, and the road has been severely affected by the floods. The road has been cut off. You cannot move from Garissa to Mandogoshe.
Otieno disclosed that approximately 30,000 people have been displaced across the region. Urgent relief supplies, including food and non-food items, are needed, but accessibility remains a challenge. Elwak Town in Mandera South and Buna in Wajir North have been identified as severely affected towns. Currently, the Red Cross has initiated the delivery of non-food items to internally displaced people in safety camps. Otieno has, however, commended the county governments of Mandera, Wajir and Garissa for their support to the displaced individuals, adding continuous effort until normalcy is restored.
In the entire region, 14 people have lost their lives. And this is particularly caused through drowning. So I'm cautioning the members of the public to avoid waterlogged areas.
Meanwhile, the Nairobi-Garissa-Wajir route faced disruptions as the road at Malimin was destroyed, leading to stranded passengers. Frustrated travelers called on the government to swiftly repair the roads for seamless traffic movements.
Nilikuwa naenda Wajir, tunaona barabara mvua imenyesha. Barabara imeharibika, gara ipitiki, na tumehangaika, tuko na watoto.
Kwa hivyo mimi ningeomba serikali iangalie maslahi ya wananchi. Sisi tunalipa ushuru, kila kitu yote, contractors wanapewa kazi, ama mwenye anapewa ile kazi angaliwe ni mtu wa aina gani, ako na experience ama ni mtu tu sababu ni binadamu. Sababu sasa wakipea mtu ako na experience, atakuwa anaona hapa mvua in case ikuwa mingi maji itakuwa juu, itakuwa inainua barabara juu.
Elsewhere, survivors at the Madogo campsite in Tana River are in dire situation, decrying of starvation and thirst after floods ravaged their village in Mororo. The 300 households sheltered in the camp claim they have not had anything to eat for 3 days since seeking refuge.
Mimi kwanza ni kilio wangu ni kwa mama na watoto wanateseka sana. Jana tumelala kwa hii mvua imetuishia kwa mwili yetu. Usiku hatuna mahali ya kulala, tumeomba kwa majirani tukapeleka tukahifadhi watoto. Watoto wako kwa shida sana. Baridi, hatuna manyumba. Tunaomba watu wa Red Cross wamesema watuletea hema. Tunaomba watufanyie bidii watuharakishie hiyo mahema itufikie. Kwa sababu saa hii tuko nje na mvua itanyesha wakati wote.
Sisi watu wengi wanafanya kazi Garissa town. Sasa kutoka huku mahali tunahamishwa na kwenda huko transport we can't do. Hatuwezi hiyo transport, ndio maana tumekaa karibu na Garissa ili tupate support ya kutembea hapa na pale, tuangalie chakula tutapata nini, watoto watasoma vipi. Hata hapa mahali ambao tumeletwa saa hii kuna laga hapa imeua jana mtoto. Wengine wameseviwa jana, hakuna boti, wameseviwa na mikono.
The victims are now appealing to the county government, national government and donors for urgent assistance as more families seek shelter at the safety campsite. The County Department Special Programs Project Coordinator, Sokorote Lulutia, acknowledges the dire situation and assures that non-food items will be distributed by the end of the week.
Wacha tungangane na sisi kama lead team ya serikali yote tunajaribu kushirikiana na washikadau wote ya kwamba hili janga at least tuweze kulimanage na tutaweza tukiwa pamoja.
Despite rescue efforts, more than 2,000 families have been affected by the calamity, resulting in the loss of lives, livestock and damage to infrastructure. The County Red Cross Coordinator, Gerald Pombe, warns that the situation may worsen in Tana Delta, where rescue operations are underway in the village surrounded by water. Faith Muli, Hope TV Newswatch.
Thank you, Faith Muli, for that report. 70 employees from Embu County Government who were recently laid off congregated at the Embu County headquarters to stage a protest terming the decision as unjust. The workers, who sought an audience with relevant authorities, claimed that their dismissal lacked proper notice and is, in their view, unlawful. Contracts of the county employees who had been working at the Enforcement Department since 2016 expired in August but were subsequently not renewed, a move that they claim caused them to experience psychological and financial trauma. The County Government Workers Union Secretary General Robert Duba led the group of workers in their demand for reinstatement, submitting their petition to the County Secretary and CEC Administration in Public Service. Embu Branch Secretary of the Union, Benson Jeru, demanded that they should have all their contracts renewed because they had fulfilled all necessary qualifications and had been dedicated employees.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, it becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Sindio?
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Did they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcasts?
Really? Even Meet of the One?
Yeah. I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
Oh, no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs on your favorite podcast streaming platform or directly on our website, www.hopemediakenya.org. Listen and live.
A very warm welcome back. Now, Kuza Asset Management, a Nairobi-based asset management firm, has officially launched, focusing on catering to institutional, high net worth individuals and retail investors who are looking for customized investments that are prudently managed. Founded in 2021, Kuza Asset Management is regulated by the Capital Markets Authority, CMA, and the Retirement Benefits Authority, RBA. Presently, it has over 650 million shillings in assets under management. The asset management firm is additionally targeting the untapped but promising market for Sharia compliance investment products. And to achieve this goal, Kuza Asset Management has established a dedicated Sharia advisory board tasked with overseeing the development of Sharia compliant products. To this end, the CMA has approved the Kuza Sharia Momentum Fund, which is now available to Muslim investors.
Currently, in Kenya, we have about 39 banks. If then we assumed we have only one bank, we combine all the 39 banks into one bank. These 39 banks sit on, as at end of June this year, sat on about 5.3 trillion in deposits. This is money from individuals, you and me, and money from corporates, money from investors. And the business of banks is they receive deposits from us, which then end up being their liabilities. Then they give out loans, which are their assets. But if you look at the 5.2 trillion sitting in banks at deposits, actually 2.1 trillion is free money to the banks.
The authority continues to focus on enhancing product uptake targeted at raising domestic investor participation in the domestic equity market segment, besides encouraging listings. Deepening the Islamic capital market is also a key priority, with the authority working together with industry stakeholders to put together a workshop in October to enhance awareness and highlight opportunities. This came in the back of approval of the issuance of the first ever Sukuk bond by Lindsay Finco Trust. The Sukuk targeted to raise about $3 billion to develop about 3,000 institutional housing units.
As a long-term plan and solution to hunger pangs and relieve food dependency syndrome in the semi-arid areas of West Pokot County, the county government has revived an annual agricultural and trade fair show that will enable farmers to boost food production. The agricultural trade fair that has been moribund for 2 years has started today at Kishaunet area, aimed at offering opportunities for locals to earn agricultural techniques, or rather to learn agricultural techniques and technology to improve food security in the region. Let's take a look.
As a long-term plan and solution to hunger pangs and relieve food dependency syndrome in the semi-arid areas of West Pokot County, the county government has revived an annual agricultural and trade fair show that will enable farmers to boost food production.
Sisi wakazi wa West Pokot kwa kilimo tunanufaika kabisa, kwa sababu kuna njia ambazo ni ya kisasa ya kilimo ambazo tumeweza kuletwa ya kuweza kuguza mimea yetu, na pia njia ambazo inasaidia katika kuondoa zile magonjwa ambayo inadhuru mimea ambavyo haiwezi haribu mazingira yetu.
The 4-day event was opened today at Kishaunet area by West Pokot Deputy Governor Robert Komole and will conclude on Saturday 11th November. The agricultural trade fair that has been moribund for 2 years aims at offering opportunities for locals to learn agricultural techniques and technologies to improve food security in the region.
Kwa hivyo tuko leo hapa kama County Government of West Pokot tukifungua hii maonyesho ya siku ya leo.
Area Governor Simon Kachapin disclosed that the country will be holding the event annually. He also encouraged farmers to attend the subsequent events, noting that it will help improve farming technologies. County Executive Member for Agriculture, Wilfred Longronyan, encouraged residents to honestly engage in agriculture and food production, as the financial rewards could be immense. Mr. Komole says that the show will be highly interactive and educative, hence will provide a forum for exchange of agricultural and agribusiness information, thereby spurring a paradigm shift towards commercial agriculture and growth of allied industries and connecting farmers to potential markets.
Government ni lazima tupromote ile uchumi ya kaunti yetu na tupromote ile technologies ambazo tuko nazo kwa kuonyesha watu wetu kwamba hii ni technology tuko nayo, let's embrace that kind of technology, ama hii ni ukulima tuko nayo, let's embrace kind of modern kind of ukulima, mambo ya livestock, mambo ya agriculture, mambo ya pia technologies katika health department, technologies katika upande wa lands na idara zote, na mambo mengi ambayo tumejaribu kuonyesha, na tupatie nafasi watu wetu pia waje waangalie yale tunaweza waonyesha hawa, na wanaweza labda kopi ama kuchukua kitu katika masomo ya siku ya leo.
Gavana yetu Kachapin, kwa sababu yeye anatumia mambo ya devolution mzuri, aweke show mapema wakati shule wamefungwa, wakati shule wako likizo. Kuna sisi wakulima, kwa sababu tumeona vitu mingi hapa. Tumeona vitu ni mingi sana, tumeona kabeji iko pale kubwa sana, tumeona sukuma iko pale.
In collaboration with the Ministry of Health and other stakeholders due to food security, the county is leading in malnutrition rate of 35.1% and wasting of 11%.
Mimi namwambia, mimi nashukuru kapa na Kachapin, kwa sababu mbeleni alikuwa yeye ndio alianza mambo ya show. Mambo ya show ni kitu anasaidia watoto sana, watoto shule.
Regan Mudhuri, Hope TV Newswatch.
KCB Racing team driver Karan Patel is in search of the African Rally Championship title as he takes on the tough Tanzanian terrain at the competition's last leg this weekend. The driver and his navigator, Tosif Khan, currently lead the ARC standings with an impressive 120 points, closely followed by Uganda's Jas Magat with 111 points. Yasin Nasser, despite facing setbacks in the Zambia event, remains a formidable contender with 93 points. A finish in the top three will automatically grant Karan the coveted title, showing the athlete's determination going from the KNRC champion in 2022 to ARC champion in 2023. The rally, also known as the Access Rally of Tanzania, will see some of the best drivers fiercely compete as rally enthusiasts from Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Zambia, and the host nation Tanzania converge for the event. Well, that story brings us to a wrap on Newswatch tonight. On behalf of the whole team, thank you for watching. I'm Tess Njenga. Have a good night.